This is the M4 Mac Mini, and this video is not only why it's such a fantastic computer, but how this computer fulfills a promise made 41 years ago on a sunny June morning in 1983.
Now, Apple's strategy is really simple. What we want to do is we want to put an incredibly great computer in a book that you can carry around with you, that you can learn how to use in 20 minutes.
The new Mac Mini is honestly kind of perfect.
Model for $600 is every bit as good as it seems on paper.
Objectively speaking, you cannot build a PC of any size that outperforms this machine for $600.
This is the base model M4 Mac Mini, and this $600 computer is not only the best $600 that you could spend on a computer, but it's also a glimpse into the very bright future of personal computing.
We don't know how to do that now. It's impossible technically.
Apple's going to recall some of their laptops because the batteries may overheat, even start a fire.
Heard about the thermal problems with this, specifically this i9 15-inch MacBook Pro.
That the cooling system inside the Mac cannot adequately cool the CPU when it's under full load.
And when I ran the same render with the i9 in the freezer, look at the difference in render time. It's crazy.
So this computer, the M4 Mac Mini, we can talk about how upgrading the RAM or the SSD or anything on this is ridiculous. How it can't game and how everything is soldered to the motherboard. But for just a few minutes, put aside the angry YouTube comment thinking cap, take that off, and just see where this computer puts us in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years. Computers, at one point in time, they took up warehouses. Then they took up rooms, and then they took up desks. And now it's this. This computer isn't just small. This computer has better single core performance than anything you can buy. It sips power, and it fits in the palm of my hand.
So we had three options. One was to do nothing.
The board then brought Steve and me together and they said, Steve, we want you to step down.
Well, Apple was about 90 days away from going bankrupt back then.
The second one was to put a piece of garbage computer in a book. And we can do that, but our competitors are doing that, and so we don't need to do that.
And I have to say, the MacBook Pro stole my heart.
In fact, even running Premiere, we find that it is more stable on macOS than it is on Windows.
Third option was to design the computer that we want to put into the book eventually, even though we can't put it into the book now.
iPad is powered by our own custom silicon. We have an incredible group that does custom silicon at Apple.
And for the customers, we expect to ship our first Mac with Apple Silicon by the end of this year, and we expect the transition to take about 2 years.
So yes, we know the RAM upgrades are crazy, the SSD upgrades are crazy. I get all that stuff. But just imagine a kid 20 years ago and his parents bring home a computer and he wants to code, but he can't because it's not powerful enough. And he wants to make movies, but he can't because it's not powerful enough. And then 20 years later, he has a kid and he brings home this, the cheapest, most powerful, best value computer on the market. And he's able to make those apps. He's able to make those movies. That's what makes me so excited about this. Is it's tiny, it's pretty cheap, and it's really good.
And right now, it fits in a bread box, and it's $10,000, and it's called Lisa. The next thing we will do is we will find a way to put it in a shoebox and sell it for like $2,500. And that'll be the next step. And finally, we'll find a way to get it in a book and sell it for under $1,000.
Apple took what was already a fantastic computer, they grabbed the knob and they turned it up to 11. It just goes to show the prophetic nature of Steve Jobs and his ability to see this computer years ago. I'm not gonna go over benchmarks or specs or charts or anything like that. I'm 3 months late to the party, all right? But for me, I'm just grateful that I got to be around at a time when we could see a computer that's smaller than 2 soda cans be this powerful. And we could see the vision of the engineers and Steve Jobs from all those years ago finally come to fruition.
We have an opportunity to do it great or to do it so-so. And what a lot of us at Apple are working on is trying to do it great.